often, if the salesman is good, he can make a person buy when they don't even intend to. Same with a doctor. He might be the best of doctors. He might have many patients and give him all the medicine he wants, but if his personality is not really right, then his medicine won't make him feel that good. His personality will make him feel worse. But very often, a wise doctor can cure a person with word of mouth alone because they realize power of mind is needed. A lawyer can dishearten a client on one visit if he don't have a personality of victory. Like Joe Frazier, for an example, he's the champion, they say. Number one, he don't have the personality. He can't talk. Very few boxers can get on this show and match wits with wise men like yourself. And,
wits is all I want to match with you.
And very few fighters, if you take the camera on close up, you see my nose and my face. I'm not ugly. I'm not ugly like most fighters. They have noses like that. Their ears are like that. How you feel, champ? Pretty. I'm a pretty fighter. And like I can, I have a personality. I know how to talk to the wine heads. I have a talk for your great Mr. Lynch here in the Parliament House, and I knew how to talk to men like you with less intelligence than myself. And I was only joking. Just listen to the people laugh. Just listen to the people laugh. Just listen to them laugh. Very few comedians can do this, and that's their job. So like I'm saying, it's personality that attracts. I mean, people of all religions, like in America, I stand up for black people, and regardless of what it costs me, I speak out for what I believe. Like you got people in Ireland fighting for what they believe. I represent this. Also, the draft was something out of my religion teach against, and this made me popular with many people. Then you got the white racists who believe in separation, such as I believe one day the black people in America must go to self, clean up self, help self, do for self. I recognize them. Then you got all the Muslims in Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Syria, Lebanon, India, all throughout Kuwait, Abu Dhabi, all throughout Libya. They all recognize me because of the name Muhammad Ali. And yet all of this up, all I represent them, my confidence. I am the greatest. I cannot lose. I'm pretty. Every man believes he's the greatest. Every man would like to be the greatest. Many want to say this, but they fear it. And they see this in myself, and some hate me for it, and some love me for it. So add it all up, and we have a large crowd. Well, Joe Frazier's ugly. He's flat-footed. He can't talk. He can't sing. He can't fight. And no personality. No, he's a slugger, a street fighter.
Why do you
he's
think...
not, Joe Frazier's not, don't get me wrong. Joe Frazier's good with his stuff. He's not skillful. Joe Frazier's known for taking a lot of punches. He's not like Floyd Patterson, or say Sugar Ray Robinson, or Joe Louis, or say Jack Johnson, Jack Dempsey. These were great scientific boxers. See, Joe Frazier will take 5 punches to hit you once. So
why do you think he beat you, Muhammad, then the last time?
Well, the reason that he got the decision, if you looked at my face and his face after the fight, both eyes were closed, his nose was bloody, his lips was cut, his head was swollen, and he spent 1 month in the hospital. He spent 30 days of intensive care, no phone calls and no visitors. And that's a terrible beating when you have to stay rest for 30 days. But he got the decision. But I'm not complaining. Next time I'll get him. I played too much with him. And plus, I find at the time I was bucking the draft system. I didn't go through the service. And I found out the 3 of the judges was on the local draft board. That's why I lost.
We'll come back to that if we can in just a moment. But could we sort of go right to the beginning of your career? What made you take up boxing as a child in Louisville?
Well, at 12 years old, someone stole my bicycle. I went to a home show where they display cars and refrigerators and household utensils and everything. And I went there and left my bicycle outside and came out. It was a drizzling rain that night, Saturday evening, about 9 o'clock. The bicycle was gone. I just got it for Christmas. Somebody asked me, I asked where was the nearest police officer. And they said in the basement of the same building that I just came out. And a fellow named Joe Martin was training amateur boxers in a room about this size. And he asked me to take out an application and learn how to fight so I can beat the fella up in joking fashion. He stole my bicycle. So I started boxing.
This led you on eventually to the Olympics. Was this your goal as a child and as a young man? Did you see that the best thing you could ever do was to be an Olympic champion?
I knew nothing about Olympics when I started. Nothing. I just boxed just to get on the local television show called Tomorrow's Champions. Every week at Saturdays in Louisville, Kentucky, we have a show called Tomorrow's Champions. And you've heard of the Kentucky Derby.
Sure.
That's where they have the races where I lived. I lived across the street from where they have the race every year. Anyway, I just wanted to get on local television, and I found out how good I was, and I kept on fighting. People say I'm conceited, I talk too much, but they must have pity on me. It's hard. I had my medal on, and the lady was looking, and I said, I'd like a cheeseburger. She said, we don't serve Negroes. I said, I don't eat them either, just give me a cheeseburger.
How was it, Muhammad, anyway, to be a Negro boy in the South?
We say black now.
All right, black. All right. All right. Is it not the same thing?
What? No, Negro. We are taught that all people are named after country. Chinese are named after China. Cubans are named after Cuba. Irish people are named after Ireland. Indonesians are named after Indonesia. Japanese are named after Japan. Australians are named after Australia. But there's no country named Negroes.
All right, then let me.
You understand?
I understand.
You're not as dumb as you look.
Let me rephrase. Do I look that dumb? What I really mean is, did you?
Пацанам посчитать потери, суммы нули погибает на сцене. Снова один прогуляюсь без тени, заливаю лин, поцелуй на шее. Капитан Бла, траблы назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степ многоярд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя. Так дайте пацанам посчитать потери, суммы нули погибает на сцене. Снова один прогуляюсь без тени, заливаю лин, поцелуй на шее. Капитан Бла, траблы назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степ многоярд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя.
Забери мас, снова летаю на пьяном угаре, я словно сияю. Ты восприняла в штыки, а я летаю, я летаю. Так, дайте пацанам не остановиться, без этих драм тут определиться. Много я видел, чужие тут лица, перелистнул эти страницы. Взять бы тебя на деле, твоих губ в новом Монклере, трабл ганж в моем теле, взять бы тебя, но без денег.
Hey babe, hey babe. Эти понты покупались в порту, твои мозги затупились к утру. Так дайте пацанам посчитать потери, суммы нули погибает на сцене. Снова один прогуляюсь без тени, заливаю лин, поцелуй на шее. Капитан Бла, траблы назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степ многоярд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя. Так дайте пацанам посчитать потери, суммы нули погибает на сцене. Снова один прогуляюсь без тени, заливаю лин, поцелуй на шее. Капитан Бла, траблы назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степ многоярд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя. потери. Суммы нули погибает на сцене. Снова один прогуляюсь без тени. Заливаю лин, поцелуй на шее. Капли камбла, траблы назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степ нога ярд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя. Так дайте пацанам посчитать потери. Суммы нули погибает на сцене. Снова один прогуляюсь без тени. Заливаю лин, поцелуй на шее. Капли камбла, траблы назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степ нога ярд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя. Эти понты покупались во рту. Твои мозги затупились к утру. Так дайте пацанам посчитать потери. Суммы нули погибают на сцене. Снова один прогуляюсь без тени. Заливаю лин, поцелуй на шее. Капли камбла, траблы назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степ нога ярд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя.
Yo. Hi Oli. Hi Maxim. Hi Matthias. Hi John. Hi Meeting Point. How's everyone? Another Friday lot update. Synchronization. Hi Anton. Hi Orange. Good morning. Good morning. Some images. Things are well. Everything is well. Another week. I guess I have to say that I'm very fortunate to experience every week as some kind of adventure. So because we're working a lot, there's just every week a new thought, a new something that is happening, and that's beautiful. Prepared for a chilled weekend. Nice. Nice to meet you, Evgeny. Shout out to Lera for yesterday's stream. We were talking about local. Shout out to Joe for the local. This is the magazine we've done around 3 years ago. Mind blowing. just was talking about you can have skills, but without right personality, nothing will help. Nothing will happen. Even if you doctor with the latest medicine, without right personality, energy, you can only harm. This just makes me think a lot. We got to work on our personality as well, which is hard, right? Because the personality is usually built up, and you do it easy way, it's fake. You do it hard way, I mean, it's hard. And what is personality? Is there a difference between personality and identity? Yeah, skills are replaceable. We are working on this top secret project right now. It will be hopefully released soon. All right, work work is aside. So, what can we talk today, guys? I was thinking about many things. This personality thing is interesting to me because um, with lot we right now fundraising, and we realize that a lot of things are coming from uh, just appearance, personality, how well you um, not even not even present it, but how well you think about it. Presentation is whatever, but how well you think about it, how deep you believe and have faith. That's what it is. So, and that belief shaped with belief is shaped with working and with attempts of trying to be good. You know, I think belief is shaped by human tries to get to the better because You can believe in evil, of course, you can believe in bad, but that's way harder and also very exhausting. Believing in something good is uplifting, hopeful, and yeah, I think that belief shapes personality. Just working trying to be good, shape belief, and then belief shapes personality. Because I try to just, be like just think about it as hard as I can, and but it's not what it is. You really have to go a step further. So this week was very interesting for us. I think that having this kind of tweets is very, very, very promising. I know that I know that I have belief and I know what it is and confident. But when our team uh, have belief and know that is going to happen, but when you see stuff like this from just people who are not from a lot or just new people, this is really uh, hopeful because people start to see a lot beyond just a gimmick. People start to understand that lot can be way bigger, way more serious. So to me, that's not just one tweet that made the week, but I live kind of life where one tweet like this can make entire year for me. So I am extremely proud and extremely happy because of these things. There was something else. Um, there was something else. Funny tweets. This one I also like, but I wanted to show you this one from Matthew Panzarino. He is editor-in-chief of TechCrunch, and us being as far away as sustainably possible from tech scene, we still consider to be a startup. We still consider to be a tech company, and to me, it's just so funny to see people like Matthew. We work with Sam Altman, people like Liam Casey, all these industry leaders. They recognize a lot, you know, Kanye. They recognize a lot, and um, and you guys recognize a lot. But there's some kind of gap between like the gods of not the gods, right? Who gatekeepers? Let's put it this way. There's a gap between gatekeepers, people who really get it, understands exactly what's going on, feel the energy, and then almost like everyone else who make the decisions or control things or maintain things rather. And that maintenance is holding us back in a way. So it's just cool to me to see that we have one people, let's put it this way, on top, understand it completely, and then the entire industry that ignores us. I feel like that's just a uh, sign of times that it's time and it's going to happen very soon. So this one, thank you, Matthew. I'm very excited to see these kind of things. Nothing to do with TechCrunch, nothing to do with that language or anything, but to see someone who's seen it all, interested in what we're doing, and it's not an easy entry point to lot, and understanding it, feeling it again, to me is very, very significant. So that's some cool news from this week. Maxim, hardest part is measured how good you are, worked on balanced and perfectionist inside. It's always a little bit painful until you get some feedback from outer world. Absolutely, and that's what between us we all talk. We can go very long like this, but it's almost like being in a relationship without love, right? You give, you give, you give, and then you don't feel there's any feedback, even if they love you. Without that feedback, is very hard to move on, and you believe that it's there. You believe that it will happen, but um, yeah, some small notifications like this, some small signs like this are extremely important. So yeah, yeah, especially when you are a little snob about feedbacks. Yeah, so that's a good, and a special thanks to everyone on Twitter who um, who helping us to push this. I saw people liking, retweeting. Thank you very much. That's extremely, extremely helpful because that is what kind of showing them our world, right? That's like almost like I see it at this point with this particular task. I see it like a voting. Like I want this to exist. So thank you very much. It's amazing it's amazing how one's thinking can expand on an idea when getting input from others. 100%. Yeah, feedback is a good word. You can expand. Sometimes you even, especially then English is your second language. Sometimes, even in Russian, but sometimes you would sit with someone and they would really try to hear you, right? Through they're genuinely interested what you have to say, and they don't really care how you talk. They just want to listen what it is, and then you just go. It's not like you speaking all the time. You have them give them opportunity, but I mean the conversation, but you just go. And sometimes you would be in the same setting, you would feel the same, but person just not interested at all. And then your energy is breaking, your English is breaking, and you losing your thoughts. So that kind of love of feedback, what do they say? Feedback with love is very important, or output with love, input with love is very important because sometimes that is what generated idea, right? Or generated something good. Just someone willing to sit through whole logical process of thinking and just vibing and creating that energy. And someone just being there already helps a lot, creates the force. What else? What else? we are working on few updates for lot after our um, miscommunication with the sound module. We realized that we just want to really streamline and clean up all communications of lot. And it's long overdue. We didn't do this for a long time because we wanted to keep the conversation open. But right now, it's the moment when we decide what is in and what is out. Um, I see this as growth moment because naturally, when you're product designer or a team of product designers, which is by design, of course, the solution for any problem is build another product or design or imagine something. It's like a spell. Draw something, create something. That's the only way we can think of. And this summer, we realized that, well, enough things built, enough things promised, enough things um, presented. So we will take a few months to polish the narration of lot and explain in a very precise matter what we're actually doing and what we're going to do for the next 10 years. From my side, that only was possible because we went through 3 years of prototyping. And then you have something working, say, first batch of packages. You immediately want to scale it right away. Then you started growing, you just want to put it on Rails. So whatever works, we don't know yet what works, but let's put that on the Rails and see what happens and make as much money as possible, and then go to the next stage. To me, that was always a little faulty agenda because we needed to spend some time with you guys, the community, with the team, to really, really put things on the roadmap, like to see them how they expand from one to another, what is the version zero, you know, like John Kyle would say, to stage the entire project, the entire company. So we know that this year we're doing this because next year we're doing this because next year we're doing that. And once again, I have to say that I'm extremely proud of us as a team that we decided to compromise comfort and that hypergrowth with design. Like we still, during hard times, good times, we're still pushing design forward. And without that 3 years, we will never have ARC. We would never have questions on the me page. We would never have me page. We would never have this community. We would never have this YouTube channel. And now, when we push enough those things, once they're already there, now we can scale, and now we can go forward, and now we can build things for money, so we can make this bigger and protect it, right? We don't want this to die, so we need to protect it financially, first of all, of course, but also just logistically, we need to protect the operations so they will be sustainable and profitable. And now with lot OS, with Arc One, with this YouTube channel, you start to understand and see how things will be shaping. With the project like Arc One, which is our long-term North Star, we expect to build it over the next 7-8 years. Of course, with prototypes, hopefully every year, but we got to build it right. And you know, I just would anyway. Um, yeah, so we have to just wanted to talk about Jay Leno for a second, but no Jay Leno. So yeah, we got to build this right, the arc, and while we're doing the arc, because it's such a big, groundbreaking idea, where people will be able to use this as second home or maybe as first home, it's a big thing. You know, it's the entire infrastructure. You can't just drop a box. You have to think of entire infrastructure, connectivity, financial models, security, insurance, all that stuff goes in. While we will work on that, we have Lot OS to build community further, to build more products, to make them work together. So that become our main revenue stream. And we want to do this publicly and transparently. We tried to do this for a long time just behind the doors, and what it creates just negativity. Nothing good comes from that actually. It's just the truth. So we want to have this communication transparent, absolutely. And you go to YouTube for now, who knows what's going to be in 5 years, but for now, 10 years. For now, it's YouTube. You go there and you can see everything we're doing, every team member talking, and you can ask every team member of any questions. And it all happens live. There's no PR, there's no marketing team. It's just us learning how to communicate what we are doing inside Lot. I see those three things, the videos, Lot OS, and Arc One working together perfectly. And I mean, I can go forever about this, but let's keep it as our um, secret formula. But you can get where I'm going with the three things together. And I think we're ready for next chapter because we've shipped thousands of packages. We've shipped thousands of units of products from electronics to apparel, self-care. So to us, you know, in every business, especially hardware business, unfortunately, have this gap of cash flow where you you can do small batches and you can do big, huge batches, but medium batches, medium scale is extremely hard because you need to serve a lot of people with high quality, but that inevitably just basically big orders for stuff, right? You need to order a lot of things, and even if our system is smart and we not just order stuff and sell it, we order things according to the machine. Machine tells us um, how many of socks or how many of t-shirts we need to order. It's still big quantities. I've been telling that sometimes we would make a thing in 1,000 units just to serve 50 people because that was the test with modular system. When we were testing it, it was only for selected users, and we were doing, say, these white t-shirts. We're doing only for a small group of people, and that's how Apple builds stuff, right? They would build full prototype, no matter how much it cost, and then scale it. So we're not Apple yet, and that means that it's hard for us to go with these small quantities or medium batches. So we have to go with bigger batches. In our business, the nature of our business is about mainstream. The nature of our business is user base, and I'm saying this respectfully it's a hive mind. More people in, better the system works. It's just as simple as that. Because we sometimes it's not the case. Like you would say that it's obvious thought, but with hardware, sometimes it's not the case because with hardware, especially electronics, you can ship something like Kickstarter stories, right? You ship something, you made say 10,000, 20,000 units because that's the minimum batch for your piece of electronic. They can't do less, and something is wrong. From idea to the team to product itself, and then you have to push somehow those 20,000 units. We don't have that problem. So we don't need to sell anything because we operate like I keep saying this. That's my regarding this subject. That's my favorite quote from Alan Kay. That hardware is the same as software. It just crystallized faster. And I see same thing with a lot that hardware products that we have, we made them to update fast. Hence, this recurring service, subscription service. Hence, simple products. Sometimes they made out of paper even, because the goal is to synchronize software and hardware so they work together. And we need to update things faster to get to more sustainable version. Shipping, there was the dilemma of, right, maybe we can build something that works for 50 years. We can, but that's turns out to be not sustainable. The cars that been built before, cities even, countries, workplaces, fucking schools, everything was built to last, and it proved itself wrong. The key to better future is renewal, and renewal is hard. Like we have to renew the whole world with every generation. We have to renew everything with every generation, and yet every generation is stuck in previous generations for some reason, like just because that's the nature of things. But it's not. The nature of things is actually summer, summer, autumn, winter, spring. That's the nature of things. Sun rotating around the globe, and things should die and reborn. And that's the nature of software. That's why it's so beautiful and magical, because software works like that, like an organism. You can update it, you can feed it. More people use it, better it becomes. So it's a very natural thing. People don't use it, it dies out without, if it built right, with no residue, it just goes away into the soil. So the ultimate hardware brand is like that, where it go fast, but because infrastructure is so strong and stable, it is sustainable. And once again, that is not possible when you have just thousands. You need to have millions of users to be able to go there. So that's why we raising money. And of course, for us as Lot, it's a little controversial because we said we're not going to, and we're not going to work with bullshit people who tries to put their agenda and use some complicated language to trick you into something that you don't want to. We open for investment from anyone, a company, an investor who understands what is happening. But it's not a VC specific pitch. We're not using that language. We're not doing that race. And I understand that that's kind of part of the problem, because participating in VC race, it's more likely to succeed because you get to the pipeline, it's well oiled, blah 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 blah, and you have $100,000 first, and then you move to the next one and the next one, and then you slowly build your fund, and now your company, because you proved, that's what they want to hear, but it's not necessarily true, and for many companies it's not true, and um, if anything, you see that the key to real contribution with this art form of company, corporation, the only way to contribute is to find God and find love and find a way how to distribute it with community of people. That's how Tesla scaled, that's how Apple scaled, that's how Ford scaled, that's how everything works. So then VC talks about that race that you have to participate in that program. They don't talk about the love part. They don't talk about the God part. They only talk about numbers and metrics and some growth hacks that prove themselves, but actually they don't. And then there'll be new company like, say, Square, Stripe, or Square, or Airbnb, and all these companies are built with completely different approach. Once again, the formula is correct. They found God, they found truth, they found love, and they try to distribute it with community of like-minded people. You know, be it whatever, the companies. And once those companies happens, they just ignore what they were just talking about before, and they now talk about this company and they praise this company, although they never mention once again that company built what they built against all what they've been talking. You know, so knowing that secret is it's easier. You really don't need to participate in that conversation. Just build great things. That's all. They talk for almost like different people. It's like they talk for, I don't know. I think they talk for just graduates or people who looking for something, and it's more like a stepping stone education. But real company does not build this that way. That's my opinion. It's like the same as relationship. It's like, but they know it. They just don't talk about it out loud. It's like you can't be in a relationship, love, romantic relationship by contract. You can, but it's extremely harmful for everyone. For baby, which is the company, and for parents, which is the partners. The only way to make it is that there's love, communication, understanding, and trust. It's very simple if you look at it that way. So instead of looking for money and looking for these programmed companies, both parties should look for just right relationship, and that's exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for the right relationship with the right people who trust us for the next 10, 20 years. Maxim, without hype right now, it's hard to imagine some serious growth, but in the same time, it's about right people, not about random people. So right now, Boost slot is kind of empty. While I work in game development, I know stories about people who make games by themselves and then sell like 100,000 copies and get their millions. Every game is about experience. So a lot is kind of experience. Do you think that games can show people that experience? So yeah, first question is definitely there are people who make something that they sell millions and it goes 100%. And maybe with lot that will come to that and we'll find that thing and maybe we'll only work on that thing for the next few years until we make it. That's a good argument. I don't know how to fight it. The only way, because the argument is following, right? You, why don't you build something that millions of people like and make money? And then other argument is that you almost build it from other way around. You build the infrastructure, you build the team, so you prepare for it to blow up, and then it blow up, rather than it blow up and then you try to figure out. Both things are equally risky, because first approach, there are many examples like that when yes, it is successful first 3 months, but then you hit funding, you hit hiring, you hit team problems and communications. Some just millions of things happens that have nothing to do with what you're building, and you lose everything. Like Pebble, you know, this you it's not enough to be just this one hit wonder. You have to maintain. On the other hand, our approach is also very risky because we are knowing that we're working on everything preparation for the launch and then launch. That's more of like how Tesla was built, for example. They've been working on first car for 8 years without it being launched for public. You know, Roadster was made, but it was for friends. And but once it launched, they so far ahead of anyone that no big company, no corporation can hit them. It's not about the car itself. It's about the management team. It's about understanding what's next after we did this and being ready for many, many milestones rather than just one milestone of launching, right? So ideally, of course, you're so smart and so organized that you launch something, it's extremely successful from the first day. And then you also prepared for success and you start to invest money right and you start to hire people, and but that's so rare, and I really believe that is so rare because it's part of luck, you know. Big companies like Amazon, they wasn't built like this. They were all very meticulous, that's the word, meticulous work on a feature, growing into the business, growing to the company. And Amazon, you know, despite being whatever people say, it's a great example of a right scale. Like it's a right scaled company, and it took them 20 years. Hi, Martin. Maxim, that's a good question. My answer is fast. It is a game. We are in the game right now. And what Lot is building is a dashboard for that game. We already buy the game in the game. This game is already designed by Hideo, just different kind of Hideo, you know, from different dimension. But it is a game, and this game is missing some um, organization, I would say, because there's natural organization, which we passed as humanity, and we shouldn't go back probably. That would be too much of reset, going back to caves and shit. But and then there's another organization, which is society, and that organization is broken. So because it's become too real, too serious, it's become all about that society, all about those rules, all about the game is not fun anymore because of that society. So we we want to acknowledge that we in the game and build tools for the game, not for the society, not for the body, but for players, right? To so we can play this game um, without Yeah, sustainable, that's the word. Play this game sustainable. Die, reborn again, play again, play again, and have this new reality. Gulag, what do you mean? Zero sum game. You mean like you can't win? I think you can win. I think the win is just not in money or anything, if that's what you mean. But let me wait for you to answer. Last time, let's play something from. Right, the sound on it's not coming through. Anyway, it's a concept. Then, if you win, someone loses. There's little room for win-win. See, I think that's a good challenge to try because yeah, if you build it centralized, 100%, and maybe just maybe there's no other way except building it centralized, like a big corporation. Maybe I don't know, but what we're gonna try is building it that it's a network of people, the community that supply its own community. You see, say Amazon is like that. And there's definitely a network of communities like shipping. I was thinking about it today. Shipment, packaging. There's a lot of third-party people who help the whole infrastructure. But the problem that money goes only towards Amazon. Whatever you do, same as Airbnb, they streamline money for the HQ. What we trying to prove is that it can be with strong idea and strong design language that is not gimmick but rather like a knowledge base that you have to use because you want to use it, like you just believe it, you use it and it makes things better, let's put it this way. I believe that if it's let's put it, if it's a movement like a subculture, then where money go? To one person? No, impossible. That's the point. So to me, if it's successful, It's only if we organize this that it's people who join the movement become prosperous. I think that's the key that they're missing. And you see, part of the Apple success is that um, they are greedy, yes, but part of the Apple success is that they have a very strong community of developers, and they always um, helped developers to become a developer and to live only off Apple. You know, even Airbnb, it's like lives off Apple. Now, of course, it lives also off Android and everything, but originally, many like Uber, how many companies are built as apps on platform that calls Apple? Now those companies are multi-billion, and that all contributes to Silicon Valley or American corporate America still, even with Apple. I believe that Apple is on a mission to free us all, but still it contributes to corporate America, and there's a lot of evil in that. Maybe when we're successful, we will also contribute to corporate America, but maybe we will have our own guarded playground where only people that join the movement, join the subculture, can benefit. And that's why we're trying to do it that way. Yes, anyone can join, in theory, but not anyone can really comprehend it or stay here. And without being elitist or anything, we have to lower our entry point. But still, I'm thinking that some kind of filter that is obviously not race, class, language, body, gender, age, but some other, not even intellect because that's bullshit, but something else that clicks with people and filter the right kind of people to be in. And that community, and with the right organization, that community can be very prosperous by itself. So I think that's my like rumble answer that in theory it can be a win-win game, really. In practice, of course, many tried, all failed. Sparks of lot-minded people create tension and generate the lift required to keep going. It's a beautiful mechanism, kind of the way sailboats work. Thank you for saying that, because I'm with you. I think there's lot-minded people, and everyone, at least we're working with, they always come with the same sentence. I was in this corporation, I was the best there, but I was too vocal, I was too open about things, and they pushed me away. Almost every time we work with someone, that's the feeling. They almost always come back um, beaten up from that world, despite being the best in their field. And that's, really, um, hold on. Just need to charge the laptop. You know what I mean? Every time people, many time people defeated, they are actually care the most, and they the best in their field, and they have the most skillful um, hands, and yet they are very often on the side. So there's something in it, in that, something broken in that formula, because maybe It's not the people who are wrong, but the system which is wrong. I'm saying maybe because I don't want to be like, you know, I'm saying maybe because I don't want to be, I want to give some room for for mistake. Right, it's charging. Um, it's like Wikipediaizing and decentralizing of Muji and Apple, but for whole lifestyle. Yeah, for the whole life, for the whole game, right? The whole thing is there should be an option for people to have like a moment of vacation basically from everything of like, and that vacation should be legal, you know. And I mean everything, just society, you should be able to switch off if you want permanently, but at least for a couple of years, and that life should be beautiful, well designed, well organized. Resource and place platform we all share and work on to make a consistent future aligned with some goals where we can all prosper. Yeah, I see it this way. Agree with you, Orange. And you know, we've been doing this just a lot, besides other things, for 3 years, and that's kind of goes back to why we trying to raise money now is because what I learned is that you need money to save organization, to secure things, so we can really start working with full trust. And for example, you know, what is decentralization? It's just a word right now. Um, to put it in motion, we need to put a lot OS in motion, start to work with first makers, local makers, and understand how the entities would work together. It's a legal question, and people want security, understandable. So, so if one entity start to work on lot module, how that relationship working? What is there? Blockchain, um, whatever the words they use now, smart contracts. I don't know what it is, but um, it's a work on relationship and organization that requires funding because it's that Maxim. It's one of the things that you can't just build, right? You have to just work on them constantly, iteration after iteration for years, and then you get it right. Um, Corey, I would love to see Sync become a platform where members share what they're building, provide feedback, and show progress. That's a good thing to have. One question to you: how would you avoid um, popularity contest? Because I see that every platform that starts, it's just becomes here. I made, like me. That's it. If there are no likes, they don't build it further. More likes, they do it further. But then more likes is tits and s's, and that's what it become at the end of the day, you know? So think about millions of people. So I'm just thinking that um, maybe anonymous sharing is the way. Yeah. Also worth mentioning that I would love to have a beer with you all then it is over. Thank you, Glug. We we need to have offline meetup and somewhere in US or in Europe, in Moscow, but it would be cool to have another meetup with all the users offline so we can see each other, drink, talk. Hopefully soon, right? But who knows? There could be second wave, so we'll see. Also was mentioned that I was always impressed by the open cola in related world, where the recipe is open source and the production become decentralized. One central recipe that calls out the others. Open cola. Let me see. That's crazy. That's some crazy stuff. That's very cool. Yeah, that's all interesting things because they aligned with the vibe of the times, and it is that I was thinking a few months ago about um, the nature of today's product, right? And they all seems to be a little bit DIY, a little bit um, undercooked, and I was thinking like, why is that? You know, what's the nature of that? Because it is possible to make things perfect and beautiful. You don't have to make them half baked and shit. And I realized that it's the same sentiment that from the article right now that our generation by default don't believe corporations. That's it. So whatever looks polished, fake. Whatever looks done, actually evil. And so for us, our generation, or just this timeline generation, not without age, everyone right now that living right now, we all want um, to see what behind the product, how it's made, who is behind it, and who is talking, who is doing it. And it's not because of interest. It's not because it's a fun thing to do. Like think about it. Every probably most of these things you use, you know some backstory from Google to Apple to whatever. Like that's unheard of, right? Before, like people would never know that stuff. Now you know everything from small companies to big companies, and they kind of transparent, like Tesla, kind of. And that's because we have zero trust in that whole operation. And that broken language, in a way, creates trust. It's interesting. So open call is a very interesting example of that. That you rather would use open cola than Coca-Cola, even though the ingredients can be the same. You know, you just need to know. You have a right to know, which is makes so much sense, right? Before it wasn't common sense. Now it's common sense. Like, of course, I'm buying shit. I need to know exactly what's it about, who made it, how. Otherwise, goodbye. Very big improvement into the game. What are the most successful as in life open source concepts out there? It's a good question. Linux, it's cool. Perhaps, Corey, the answer to the question is that we, and I really think if you do it right, it's not going to be totalitarian. I mean, who knows? But the point is not to make it totalitarian. But I believe that we have to build one thing. Maybe we do parts of it, but we build one spaceship, right? So otherwise, why people should be in that platform? Like I'm as a user, I'm not really interested in on what some person built, like some startup. Like who cares, With all respect, but still. But if it goes into the system, even slightly touches on the vibe or the story or continue the same vocabulary, helps to spread a lot, then yes, right? But once again, it's such a big ask of someone to like, right, if you work on something, it have to be on this system. So first, like App Store, for example, Apple, right? So we have to prove that this system is. There are some people who do it already, building stuff with us, that just believe in it without nothing else. But to scale, you need to show some tokens of success. Like you join us, you start working with us, you start building part of lot, you start building this spaceship with us. 2 years, you upgrade your life. And there were many ideas around that. For example, you join lot and you start to build something for lot. You on full subscription with ARC and food and self-care products. So basically, all your life expenses and needs are covered just by lot itself. And so you're almost like working on lot to make your life better because you use those products anyway, right? You use everything by lot. So then it's become the circular economy thing. And if you need to make more money, when it's super big, you can build things inside the system, but with proper organization, you can take things to outside world. It's like Amish, right? Yeah, like a religion, like organization, but without, it's a bad word. Subculture is much better. So because it's associated with oppression, subculture associate with anarchy and freedom. Religion also supposed to associate with anarchy and freedom, by the way, but it's oppression now. So yeah, to me, yes, the me can be representation of what community is doing, but only if community is doing a lot, because otherwise, um, it's not. It's just logically not going to work. It's only cost one bad actor there to completely kill the whole thing. Whereas if because it's going to be a popularity contest and proving something to who knows who. But if everyone working on the same thing, even spiritually, then let's say a bad actor become more of a child, and everyone tries to help them and put them on the right track and everything and organize. Reddit is a good example of that, where people um, very synchronized. I just love to watch Reddit, how synchronized people are on the same frequency. They're doing different kind of shit, but they all still works as a community. It's very big and abstract community, but still, Apple is a good example of community where people build things for Apple, right? You want to build UI element, same quality as Apple. You want to make something beautiful that they will see it and they will promote you on their platform, etc. If you look at it without just money, just as organization, it's a very smart way to organize each other. Linux. What's funny? There was this. I mean, it's still here. I'm not sure if it's the most um, if it's the most, how we say it, if it's one of the most successful open source projects, but this is quite successful, right? Quite big. Three.js. Basically, most of the 3D you will see on your in your browser would be done with Three.js, and it's done by good friend Ricardo Cabello. Ricardo is a genius, and it's an open source project. And I asked him same question: what it takes to make it open source, and is it possible to make lot open source? And he said, at the beginning it's fun. Eventually, there is politics where people start to, um, do bad things to other people, and like it's just become this chaotic organization with no ownership, and only when he introduced some kind of management to the thing, where people have to go through some layers of, some checkpoints and milestones, and then eventually comes to him and he approves and blah blah blah. Then it start to work. So it's and you need money to do that also, right? So you need money to, because some people start to work on that full time, and so you need some money to make it working. So I feel like it's very very hard to make. Once again, it's a beautiful word, open source, but then you look from management, organization, financial, same shit, same organization of people, of each other, trying to make it work without killing yourself, right? That's the nature. So I think that's why the approach with Lot OS is to find the middle ground between making it an open source and subculture, and people be able to participate if they want, but also having some strict disciplined culture where we can remove bad actors, and hopefully bad actors will be visible collectively. So it's not like someone's opinion, again, politics, like I don't like this guy or girl. Rather, everyone see that doesn't work. We need to change that approach, and they don't feel the person, or they don't feel the group, or let's say there's a module that starts to operate on load, and that module over years become toxic for some reason. Like they start to sell things um, away from lot and make a lot of money, and kind of maybe, I don't know, make fun of lot, etc. Could be, while still using lot for profit. Like that's a very reasonable scenario, no matter how well we think of ourselves. That's a very reasonable thing that can happen. And with open source, what do you do? And with organized community, almost like a government, there could be people who can make a decision where, like, all right, this is, we can't have this on our platform. We need to, like Apple does this with their apps. You like it, you don't like it, it's safer than other options. FerroTrade was used with KubeCola, OpenCola variant. They're cool and they're still active. FerroTrade. Let's see. This looks amazing, but I don't understand what's that. See, that can be a problem with lot. Respectfully, Can someone explain what's this? Because this looks very cool. Orange, what's Ferrotrade? Matvey, open source hardware is on the rare side probably. Yeah. Yeah, Ethereum open source financial system, but where is Ethereum now? I don't use it. You probably don't use it. You know? Arduino. Arduino is a good example. Ethereum is also a good example. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that I strongly disagree with buzzwords. You know, decentralization, blockchain, smart contracts, crypto, open source. They beautiful concepts, but um, they are taken away already by intellectuals and elite. They, I don't know how to explain. I hope you understand. The history of open source is fascinating. Fascinating. Read The Cathedral and the Bazaar. That's cool. Let's see. By the way, we're going to publish all these links now to uh, this sync page. So that is our that's maybe with some tag or something, but that's our first steps towards the um, archive. Also, we send Sunday emails where we mention this thing. So every links are super appreciated. Thank you, Haman. That's so cool. Open source fashion. Shareware. Yeah, maybe. Corey, I guess my original thought was based around how can lot subscribers actually continue to the vision, become more than consumers of it. That's the that's the goal. That's the goal. That's the goal, Corey. With this YouTube sessions, that's the kind of first attempt to make it so we all together on one page every week, right? If you hear, you know exactly what's happening. So at the very least, we listen and incorporate the ideas into a lot and uh, work with users. But it has to be okay. I think to explain it we tried to do this at the very, if you remember, at the very beginning, where we were like, it's open, let's go, and people start to join, and we start to basically approving, let's put it this way, everything, and make everything join in. Very fast, of course, it hit the wall, because even with sound recently, like there's some miscommunication, something, boom, doesn't work immediately. They put a lot of work in, we put a lot of work in, still something went off. And that's why I think that we still on that mission. We just pushed it further for the next years, because right now I just don't see the way to open up that part. Although that was the dream, that's the original idea. So it's a collective, decentralized Apple where we're all working on this big thing and pushing this forward, like yeah, subculture. I mean, I'm kind of in pain because I feel you, but I really don't know how to, even remotely, how to kickstart that thing so it works. Not just for marketing or for the gimmick. We did that, not for the marketing, for the gimmick, but it looked like we did it for the gimmick. That was attempts. Every time I start thinking about open source communities, I always end up in just society structure. Somebody will work harder than others, and this will lead to politics, just human nature. I agree. I agree. Absolutely. That's Gulag is answering the Corey language, the Corey question. Like with until we fix that part, we can't open it up. The society structure that is embedded in us. Not we're programmed with that. So yeah, better ways to organize each other. Biggest scalability obstacle for something like this, in my opinion, is that the human nature works in cults and closed religions since they can moderate, keep the size, and have an incredibly strong belief behind it. I agree. From non-religious organization, there were few like art movements, like Bauhaus. They work the same way. It's based on very high ethics of work and love of the craft and um, disciplined community where you can build a chair using Bauhaus, but you have to contribute and make it quality level that people um, so people would always push that movement further, and that's created so many things we see around us. Even Apple designing Bauhaus. It's a collective of people that were pushing design, product design every day, and they were doing it as institution. What if we can do the same thing as a corporation? You know, Gulag. Yeah, thank you. Um, so yeah, every Sunday there's email. Please let us know if you don't receive it. You have to be subscribed either way, so you can receive the big update. Shout out to Matthias for uh, doing that. That's become like almost like a book at this point. Very cool. Yeah, Igor. Does the idea of float modules include social communities like Load Running Club? Yeah, right. That's was the thing with sound. It's we provide the platform. They have to work on their own management and organization and with just and I understand how hard it is, with full belief in that system that we're trying to build. And then they add something to us, we change it, we give it back to them, then we grow. Um, yeah, I'm just thinking more about how complex this whole thing is. But also based on this conversation, that there is no other ways. We got to crack this. That's a good question, Igor. I'm just kind of stuck on that. It'd be cool to test that, right? To have lot restaurant or lot coffee shop or something. It's a community center that is not belong to lot, but is run under lot umbrella. Money goes to the module. Say in Moscow, for example, in LA, we have a coffee shop and it runs according to lot guidelines. Money, the profits goes to the owners. They share some profit with lot, say 20% or 15%, whatever is real. And in exchange, it lives in a lot universe, meaning it's supplied, designed, and promoted by lot. And it's used as a community center for people to meet. So therefore, there's some kind of guaranteed audience. It's very interesting. I think the question here is the scale, because you have 10 people coming to you every day, but you need 100, 10 people from lot, 90 from who, where. And it's good for us because some of those 90 new people that will come that you need for business, say club or restaurant, I don't know, maybe more, maybe you need 1,000, but say you need 100 more. And some of them will be converted to lot, like one of them, and then 89 will be pretty random people. Hard work to control all. Yeah, I think that's a good that's a good sentiment. That's why that's a balance between, it is very hard to um, having these discussions, because yeah, in one way we want to open up, another way it can be opened up. Once again, we tried that. So it's the balance between control all, and it's right in the middle between controlling it all, and everything goes into the HQ. Everything is this, greedy machine. And on the other hand, it's just this philanthropy, charity, right? What is the middle ground here? Meeting point. The only way to defeat the popularity contest is to give people the idea larger than themselves, larger than anything they can be working on by themselves. Yeah, something that can be realized only through the joint efforts. Lot being a completely different universe, the fourth dimension seems like a powerful pathway. Cell structure of the human body could be an inspiration. There should be an automatic immune response in place for any bad actors. A lot to dig in here from molecular biology. Molecular machines, way cells connect to each other, take up various roles. It's incredibly morphing, yet incredibly rigid at the same time, in ultrastructure. The Machinery of Life by David uh, Goodsell is a good classic book on this deep but fairly short and fairly easy read. That's cool. I would say that for not an excuse, but rather as a recognition, I think with Lot we've done a lot of work toward that mission. You know, we we changed. Check, 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 check. Yeah, we changed the company from not knowing this, but knowing all this now and incorporating it into everything we do. And I think the progress is there. That's why I'd say I'm not afraid to talk about these things anymore, you know, because um, I know it's real because we did so much progress and we learned so much over the past 3 years. So I know that we can get there, but I also know that it will take smart people like you guys. Everyone in this room is just next level, extremely helpful. And we all in one room work on this problem every day for the next 2 3 years. Then we're going to crack it faster. We can crack it in the next 10 years, 20 years, but we get all these people in one room, next level. In a way, yes, Corey, it is a franchise model, but franchise, but it's not for one type of goods. It's for anything, right? So that's the key here is to design the meta level of that franchise business, where what people do is their business. What they can do anything from baby products to um, food and uh, transportation, doesn't matter, or open a club. But what is that description of that franchise that will make it unified, right? Each model its own model with one description. It has to be recurring, monthly, weekly. It has to be service that people can use every day, and it's only about necessities. So the idea that using modules um, user can create not create users kind of outsource the basic decisions that they do during the day to Lot, so they can be left with more not so basic decisions that they have to make, right? So yeah, I see that, say, uh, travel here is an independent module that you subscribe to, and say paying certain amount every month, you have access to a network of Lot um, apartments, houses powered by Lot users and only Lot users. So you have to be on Lot OS to be able to use travel. And there also has to be some limitations, of course. It's not just travel because there otherwise people would, the subscription model won't work. But say it's one trip per month. It has to like there has to be rules. Um, Sound separate entity that supplies sound for Lot community. That is a paid module where um, money goes back to the module owner, but then how you design it so we stay like this for years, and it's not end up where we promoting someone and then they leave, or they promoting us and we leave. Like maybe franchise is an interesting concept to think about, actually. Very interesting. Yeah, can lot work like owner code that exists in Julie? Well, that's the manifest, right? Yeah, maybe, maybe Igor, maybe the club that you mentioned is we changed it from. Hold on, I'll open the page. Right, we changed it from, say here, we changed it from travel to offline, right? You subscribe to offline, and you pay, say, maybe like even $50 per month, but that allow you to have like, you know, one meal, one drink every day, um, at that place, and you have basically free ticket and like membership, right? And yeah, during summer it's one place, but subscription continues. During winter, there's some other experiences. It just calls offline. So if you want to have access to that offline part of lot with clear benefits of like maybe transportation or food or drinks, maybe some literature, whatever, access to that offline community could be here. So yeah, it is wild, right? If you think about it, the possibilities are kind of crazy. Right, guys, it's been almost 2 hours. That was very um, intense conversation for me because it is very smart. I'm not that smart. So thank you for contributions, everyone. That's some very powerful chat right here. I'm glad that we saving those chats, and next time there will be some conversation about with anyone, like say investor. I can always point to this chat and be like, "Yo, we we talked about this." But as you see, I'm sure you've been thinking about it right now, that it is extremely appealing, and we all want that. Like, how beautiful it will be that to have that world. And then you see how hard it is to build it. And it's not because of design or products and we don't know. It's really because we need to go level up and understand human experience, human nature, God, and love, and how we can put those things together so they work and not abuse those things, right? So once again, I just have to, for the record, say that I'm very proud of our progress. I think that even this conversation would not be possible, a year ago, 2 years ago. Now we have this conversation here, and some pieces of this conversation, very small, but they already in lot implemented, and um, that's a big deal. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Gulag, Hamad, Meeting Point, Orange, Corey, Igor, B2L, Maxim. Thank you guys for Martin, Typed X. Thank you for being here, and I want to wish you the best weekend. Monday, join us. Tomorrow will be another one, a presence where you can use chat to connect with each other. Monday, Andre, talks about software, backend design, architecture of Lot, and beyond, of course. Tuesday, Matthias talks about community and beyond. Wednesday, please join Joe Tsao on his weekly show, Arc One, where we invite different people from the team, outside the team. Eventually, we're going to get in touch with you guys and invite you to that show. Joe told me. So Wednesday is Arc One show. Thursday, Lara talking about product. At Lot, there is a transition between physical products. That part is on hold right now to software products. So be there. Friday, Varik talks about company, organization, and vision for the future. Talk soon.
Так дайте пацанам посчитать потери. Сумма нули погибает на сцене. Снова один, прогуляюсь без тени. Заливаю лин, поцелуй на шее. Капитан Бла, траблы назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степ на Гаярд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя. Так дайте пацанам посчитать потери. Сумма нули погибает на сцене. Снова один, прогуляюсь без тени. Заливаю лин, поцелуй на шее. Капитан Бла, траблы назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степ на Гаярд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя.
Забери масс, снова летаю на пьяном угаре, я словно сияю. Ты восприняла в штыки, а я летаю, я летаю. Так, дайте пацанам не остановиться, без этих драм тут определиться. Много я видел, чужие тут лица, перелистнул эти страницы. Взять бы тебя на деле, твои губ в новом Монклере, трабл ганж в моем теле, взять бы тебя, но без денег.
Hey babe, hey babe. Эти понты покупались во рту, твои мозги затупились к утру. Так дайте пацанам посчитать потери. Сумма нули погибает на сцене. Снова один, прогуляюсь без тени. Заливаю лин, поцелуй на шее. Капитан Бла, траблы назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степ на Гаярд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя. Так дайте пацанам посчитать потери. Сумма нули погибает на сцене. Снова один, прогуляюсь без тени. Заливаю лин, поцелуй на шее. Капитан Бла, траблы назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степ на Гаярд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя. Так дайте пацанам посчитать потери. Сумма нули погибает на сцене. Снова один, прогуляюсь без тени. Заливаю лин, поцелуй на шее. Капитан Бла, траблы назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степ на Гаярд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя. Так дайте пацанам посчитать потери. Сумма нули погибает на сцене. Снова один, прогуляюсь без тени. Заливаю лин, поцелуй на шее. Капитан Бла, траблы назад, черный каскад. Вижу твой взгляд, степ на Гаярд. Мог тебя взять, но ты не моя.
Забери масс, снова летаю на пьяном угаре, я словно сияю. Ты восприняла в штыки, а я летаю, я летаю. Так, дайте пацанам не остановиться, без этих драм тут определиться. Много я видел, чужие тут лица, перелистнул эти страницы. Взять бы тебя на деле, твои губ в новом Монклере, трабл ганж в моем теле, взять бы тебя, но без денег.
Hey babe, hey babe.